Have you ever tried to solve a problem by pushing harder and harder, only to find yourself more stuck than when you started? We see a cluttered room, and our forward-thinking brain says, problem, junk. Solution, trash bag. Action, throw it away. We see a personal flaw, and our brain says, problem, weakness. Solution, fix it. Action, force yourself to change. This is how we're taught to think, logically, linearly, forwards. We identify a problem, and we march directly towards a solution. But what if this forward march is leading us away from the answer? What if the most creative and profound solutions are found not by moving forwards, but by thinking backwards? The phrase, one person's trash is another person's treasure, is not just a nice sentiment. It's an instruction manual for a radical kind of thinking. All trash is misplaced treasures. It asks us to invert our process. Instead of starting with the trash and asking, how do I get rid of this? We are challenged to start with the concept of treasure and work backwards to find it in the very thing we were about to discard. This isn't just about objects, it's about projects, relationships, and the parts of ourselves we've labeled broken. Today, we're going on a journey to learn this backward philosophy, a journey that will show us how to unlock hidden value everywhere by simply reversing the direction of our thoughts. Part 1. Working backwards from failure. The Stoic inversion. Our first stop is with the masters of mental inversion, the ancient Stoics. While we spend our lives planning for success, the Stoics practiced a powerful form of backwards thinking called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Instead of asking, how can I ensure this project succeeds? They would work backwards and ask, what are all the ways this could spectacularly fail? It sounds pessimistic, but it's actually a superpower. By envisioning the worst-case scenario, the trash outcome, they could calmly identify the potential pitfalls and prepare for them. They worked backwards from failure to build a fortress of resilience. The philosopher Seneca advised that by mentally rehearsing misfortune, we rob it of its shock and power. We turn the trash of anxiety into the treasure of preparedness. Let's apply this backwards thinking to a modern example, the side hustle. A forward-thinking person might say, I'll start a business. I need a logo, a website, a product. They march forward and often get overwhelmed. The backwards-thinking Stoic would say, my goal is a successful side business. Let's work backwards from total failure. What would kill it? Running out of money, making a product nobody wants, burning out. By starting with the trash outcome, the path forward becomes clear. Instead of building a website, first validate the idea to ensure people want it. Instead of quitting your job, first build a financial cushion to avoid running out of money. You work backwards from the potential garbage fire to create a fireproof plan. The treasure isn't just the successful business. It's the wisdom gained by confronting the potential for trash head-on. This is the first step of our backwards philosophy. Don't just look at the object or situation. Look at your goal and work backwards from its opposite. Part 2. Backwards from action. The Daoist reversal. Now we travel east, where Taoism offers an even deeper form of backwards thinking. Our normal forward-thinking instinct is to act, to do, to fix. Taoism asks us to reverse this. The core concept of Wu Wei is often translated as effortless action, but it can also be seen as the wisdom of non-action. It's a backwards step from intervention. Instead of asking, what should I do with this thing? The Taoist asks, What does this thing want to be if I get out of the way? It's a reversal from controlling to listening. The sage Lao Tzu used the metaphor of the uncarved block. Forward thinking sees a block of wood and immediately wants to carve it into something useful. But in doing so, it destroys its potential to be anything else. The backwards Daoist approach is to appreciate the block as it is, full of infinite possibility. Let's revisit the failed community garden. Forward thinking says, it failed. Let's make a new, better plan and force it to work. The backwards Daoist approach says, stop, reverse the impulse to act. Let's listen to the trash. The dead plants are becoming compost. That's what they want to do. The silence from the community is telling us the idea wasn't right for them. The lesson is the treasure here, not the garden itself. By working backwards from our impulse to control, we allow the natural solution to emerge. This applies to people too. When someone is struggling in a role, our forward impulse is to manage them, to give them more training, to force them into a mold. The backwards Daoist approach is to step back and ask, what is this person's natural flow? Where would they thrive if I stopped trying to fix them? We reverse our management and become observers. Often in that space, the person finds their own way to their own treasure. A different role, a different team, a different approach we never could have designed for them. Part 3. Backwards from harmony. The Confucian blueprint. Finally, let's see how this backwards philosophy builds a better society through the lens of Confucianism. The ultimate goal for Confucius was social harmony. A good society is a treasure. So, all actions should be viewed backwards from that goal. Forward thinking sees a person with a difficult personality and says, that person is the problem. We start with the flaw, the piece of trash, and we focus on it. Confucianism invites us to think backwards. It says, the goal is harmony. Now, working backwards from harmony, how does this difficult person fit into the blueprint? It completely reframes the question. The person is no longer the problem. The lack of harmony is the problem. Let's use the example of a family gathering. An uncle is argumentative and loves to debate politics, causing tension. Forward thinking says, tell the uncle to be quiet or uninvite him. This focuses on eliminating the trash element. The backwards thinking, Confucian-inspired host starts from the end goal. I want a harmonious family dinner. Working backwards, they would ask, what role could the uncle play that creates harmony instead of destroying it? Perhaps you seat him next to a cousin who also loves a good-natured debate, creating a contained debate zone that doesn't engulf the whole table. Or you work backwards even further and give him a specific job. Uncle, you're the master of the grill. We need you focused on that. You're not changing who he is. You are reverse engineering the environment, so his nature becomes a contribution, not a detriment. You started with the treasure of harmony and worked backwards to find a place for the piece that seemed like trash. As Confucius said, the superior man seeks harmony, not conformity. You don't force everyone to be the same. You arrange them so their differences create a more beautiful, complex, and harmonious whole. Your blueprint for thinking backwards. We've seen how thinking backwards is a universal key found in the wisdom of both West and East. It's a practical tool for turning the things we label trash into profound treasures. The Stoics worked backwards from failure to build resilience. The Daoists work backwards from action to find the natural flow. The Confucians work backwards from harmony to build community. So how can you become a backwards thinker? Here is your blueprint. The next time you face a piece of trash, a failed project, a difficult relationship, a personal flaw, stop the forward march. Instead, start this 3-step reverse process. 1. Define the treasure. Don't focus on the problem in front of you. Leap to the end. Ask, in a perfect world, what would the treasure version of this be? What is the ideal outcome? Is it a thriving business? A harmonious family? A feeling of self-acceptance? Get a clear vision of the treasure. 2. Look for the bridge. Now, with that vision of treasure in your mind, look back at the trash. Ask the magic question: how is this thing in front of me the raw material for that treasure? How is the failed business the foundation for wisdom? How is the difficult person a catalyst for compassion? How is your flaw the seed of a unique strength? 3. Follow the path backwards. The connection you just made is your path. The steps will now reveal themselves, not as a forced march forward, but as a logical path backwards from your goal. This is the power of the backwards philosophy. You stop seeing a world of problems to be solved and start seeing a world of treasures waiting to be claimed. If only you're willing to turn around and look at them from the right direction. Stop trying to get rid of the trash. Start by defining the treasure and let that vision lead you home.